Hello everybody, Kane here and welcome to another video of Out of Conquest. In this one we have the two next heroes, which is Virion and Vega. So we're gonna start out with Virion because with Vega we're not really gonna have a ton of stuff to talk about. So Varian, in my own case and how I use him, he's probably one of the stronger tanks in the very beginning of the game. And that being without many researches, without many buffs, breakthroughs, and stuff like that. Simply because of one of his first abilities, which is when his HP drops below 50%, he casts, I suppose, a damage reduction of 95% for 26 seconds. So a ton of his damage that he's receiving is pretty much negated. Now in this sort of like stage where I'm at, he's not really that tanky, but in the very early in the game, he was by far one of the strongest tanks. So usually you had him on a stall side with buffs and stuff like that, and pretty much he kept everything alive. Not mainly by himself, but alongside Balrog, it was pretty friggin' good. So now you have a couple of builds which you can actually do. So this is the current build that I have on him. Basically, I am just playing Lich Race. As you can see in the bottom left, I have a Lich Castle, so I don't need the new artifact. Now we're gonna touch on artifacts as well. So the weapon is 20% damage mitigation. Like majority of the heroes, you literally want to go damage mitigation. Like there is nothing better than resistances unless you're able to get more of them. Like that is pretty simple. Aside from that, we have a dragon set. At the start of the battle, hero bonus will be applied to surrounding allied units, allowing them to recover HP while in battle. So don't ask me how much this heals, I have no idea. All I know is it's some heals, he's appearing in the healing charts, all that kind of stuff. I really have no clue how much, just so that it sometimes heals. So in some cases it can, help out for a skeleton to not instantly proc invincibility. Not always, but it might help out. And in such a case, that one skeleton might tank an entire burst side or archers for an additional 1 or 2 seconds. I mean, there are nuances where these recoveries or healings can actually help. Also depends where you place him. At the same time, if you don't use this particular dragon set, there are shields which are actually pretty decent. So for example, this one. At the start of the battle, friendly ranged troops on both sides of the hero and behind them take less damage and deal more damage. So if you place him somewhere in the middle of the field with the new artifact, which we will talk about, this could actually be one of the more useful abilities as well. If you're running, say, human, Rakan, perhaps, and stuff like that. As well as we have another one, also if you're playing, say, a human. So this one is +1 to Crusader Resurrection, so you get a couple more swordmen or rather every some seconds, and you can revive a little bit more. Not sure if this is like really overpowered in terms of like human race, but essentially you might want to have it if you play human, and if you prefer to place Varian near the archers, which in some cases would be now possible or wanted, you could actually use this shield as well. So for helmets, again, a dragon set. If you don't use the dragon set, probably I would suggest to go for this. Gain a shield worth of 10% of Varus health every 12 seconds. Shields can stack. The other part doesn't really matter. I don't think that there is any better helmet than that. It helps out a little bit with tankiness. Not sure how much. Again, really depends on who you're fighting and etc. But helps out a little bit. And in such a case, if you're not using the dragon set, I mean, at the current stage in the game, I'd probably suggest Arcane Armor. Again, resistances. Currently, like, the meta is mainly still like magic damage. And as the game goes further, I think it's gonna be increasing heroes damage further. And again, like, majority of the time, most of that damage is actually magic damage currently. Yeah, you have rogues. They do a ton of single target damage, but the only other armor that you can actually get is evade, and now everything has like 400% accuracy. Like heroes 300, I think, somewhere there, unless you're very, very early in the game. So pretty much I would kind of suggest the arcane armor, and resistances once more, and that would make him quite a bit tankier. Now, trinkets, there are like a huge variety of stuff that you can actually choose depending where you place it. So since I have some healing from this, I have some this, I suppose it might proc on him, I have no idea. So I just place this, as well as I have a hero mastery on him that would kind of help out my stall side as well. So that's why I put Band of Bishop. Usually those go better on gladiators because you have higher HP values, all that kind of stuff. However, I'm not really leveling the other gladiator because he's likely to die a bit faster than Varian at the moment in my own case. So I just rather have a safe hero with a little bit less efficiency, I suppose, but I mean, he's not gonna die as easy. So other trinkets. Aside from this, you have the Flawless Codex of Retribution. This is the ability which makes him tanky. So if you're not running human, you actually want this to improve this by, I believe, 3 seconds or 6 seconds. I'm not entirely sure. It's either 3 or 6 seconds. Aside from those trinkets, you have a huge variety of ones you can choose depending on how you play. So for example, some people use this when HP goes below 50%, equal to 10% of heroes' max HP. A shield friendly units receive. So I believe heroes as well do receive that. I believe army units as well receive that. I see some people putting Heart of Darkness on him. I see some people putting magic resistance 30%, which also, I mean, it's one of the possibilities because, again, magic damage is currently like a huge portion of PvP. Even though the data logs don't really show it, this is one of the more important trinkets in the game as far as the game is right now. Aside from that, again, it really depends where you place him. Even a Degra's necklace could be good if you're placing him in like the middle of the archers or somewhere around the archers, pairing with the, I suppose, the shield and stuff like that. There are really a ton of choices depending how you build him, whether you build him as a tank, as a utility, as a buffer, and stuff like that. Like, a lot of choices based on your own formation. And we could probably go on like 10 minutes explaining some different builds, but I mean, you use them for specific ones, so I'm pretty sure you're gonna place them well regardless. So, artifacts. I use Astrarian Fari simply because I'm placing Varian on my stall side. And because I'm placing him on my stall side, I have some buffs, some healing, some defenses, and I need this artifact to be on the hero, as well as the hero itself will be healed with HP, which is missing. And I mean, he has a ton of resistances, not a ton of buffs by himself, but hero mastery. So essentially, it's a heal on heal sort of thing with a Band of Bishop also transferring, I think, some of that. I'm not entirely sure. While also providing a ton of mitigations for the stall side in terms of magic resistance. So I mean, it really depends, because again, I am playing Lich Race. If you're playing human right now, or a Khan, perhaps even Dwarf, I think, you should tear up the Badge of Light. Now, why the Badge of Light? At the start of the battle, Varian boosts the morale of 2 nearby humanoid units. So this also works in Sylvani race. So you got human, Rakan, Sylvani, and Dwarf. The reason why the other two is because the elf archers are humanoid. The dwarf snipers or deadeyes are also humanoid, so this morale boost also works on them. 2-star Virion on the battlefield, morale boost lasts for an additional 1 second. So out of a human race, the morale boost lasts, I think, 3 seconds. So with this particular artifact, it's going to last 5 seconds now, and you're going to be boosting them at the beginning. Then after 30 seconds, you're able to boost the morale again. Do keep in mind that this is not just like an attack speed boost and all that kind of stuff. It's also his ability, which is the Crusader Shield. When he's on the battlefield, whenever a friendly troop gets a morale boost, they take about 50% reduced damage. That is physical and magical resistance. So in some nuances, you could waste 1 or 2 abilities on something which is morale boosted, and pretty much a ton of its damage might be negated or not reduced or resisted rather, and healed back up to full. Because if you don't take damage, there are some nuances where you could quickly heal back up. I mean, there are a ton of things like that, but essentially this one hero, depending which race you play, can either be a tank, can either be built for utility and stuff like that. Now in terms of prism, a pretty basic prism. You just upgrade, I suppose, a prism, a buffing one, I guess. I don't really have a specific one which really would benefit him aside from that one. Really just a buffing prism, whichever one you want to pick. But since he's frontline and he is on the stall side, the only prism that I would suggest is one that you might not really be sad about losing, because he might be killed still. He's in the front line, so if you lose, just put a prism which really wouldn't you wouldn't really suffer, is what I'm trying to say, if you lost it. Because there are some which are a ton more valuable than others, so bear that in mind. Abilities. If you're playing, say, Lich Race or whatever, you want the Light Safeguard as high as possible, Lionheart's Blade, and of course Crusader Shield. Crusader Shield, I'm not entirely sure if it does anything, but you want these two particular abilities max level. If you're playing in a humanoid race, you want Crusader Shield max level. If you're playing human, you want some Crusader Resurrection levels. And then, of course, Swordman Mastery level 9 or 10. And the rest of the points just go on these two and then the ultimate. Because if you're playing human, these two abilities are the most important, and then the other three are, I suppose, the second tier abilities, which you kind of put on at your own case or leisure, depending what you require. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of potential. So since I'm not really using him, I don't really require that. But I mean, it's Swordman buffer on pot 35, so if you're playing human, you want him at pot 35. This one boosts morale boost, effectiveness by 15%, so you might even want this. This one actually is a lot better with the new artifact that you have for Varian. So instead of 25% chance and buffing morale, because let's just quickly check just to showcase you what I mean. There is a star here. When Varian triggers Lionheart's Blade, he boosts the morale of 2 random humanoid units on the field. So this one is this ability right here, 25% chance. So if we go on pot 50, you have this at 38. So essentially, since I believe heroes have like 1.5 to 2 attack coefficient or so, you might actually be proccing this and have morale boost on your archers per se majority of the time, depending how you do, how you plan, etc. So this is actually pretty good even off race if you have that one particular artifact upgraded to 5-star, and of course you have some humanoid army units on the field. Aside from that, Pot 70 increases his tankiness after the shield disappears. I mean, it's okay, not like very useful as like Pot 50 or so, and this one just revives more stuff. Not as useful as Pot 50, because with that particular artifact, Pot 50 is like pretty much hands down overpowered if you have humanoid units on the field. Aside from that, I have a skin with 10% true max HP. Aside from that, hero mastery, you want to put, well, depending how you place him, where you place him, you likely want to one in the command on him and one on the divine on him. Again, depending how you place him. If you place him in other specific places, you might only want to put a command or maybe the protectiveness, etc. Since I am not going to be showing my last 3 pages in Hero Mastery, unfortunately, I cannot really talk much about it. Again, this is talking from my past experience when I was making videos and trying new stuff. People copy that, they made their formations fail or whatever, and blame me a lot for that because they copied my own stuff. So just to avoid nonsense like that happening, unfortunately, I really cannot go deeper into Hero Mastery. Have to figure that stuff out yourself and try. Don't really want to take that blame once more. So, aside from that hero, we have Vega, probably one of the most useless heroes in the game, at least at the moment. I mean, who knows, a specific artifact like Varians could actually change the game or break the game. But for now, as it stands, she's just a stat booster, and pretty much that's it. The thing about her is that she has a heal ability which is pretty overpowered, not gonna lie. Simply because you have this boosted healing thing here. When she uses a heal on friendly units, they are imbued with a shield that mitigates the damage they take by 35% and extends the healing effect by 8 seconds, 9 seconds. So pretty much at level 10, you're looking at maybe 15, 16, or 17 seconds. So bear in mind that you have this, actually, I have no idea how long this heal lasts. Shield instance, the healing effect. Well, probably this is the timer on this particular heal, so might only be healing for about 15 seconds maximum, but the mitigation is pretty good. The only other thing, or a thing that could actually make her viable, is if this boosted healing actually worked on favor of the sun god. Then probably every one of us would be playing a race which could actually take the heals, like even Sylvani, Lich Scorpions, all that kind of stuff. Like this 35% additional damage mitigation for 15 seconds could really break the, well, not break the damage charge, but break the tankiness. However, I think long time ago I even tested this multiple times, and this only affected this one particular ability. And in such a case, potential didn't really solve anything ever. The healing just doubles the amount healed. Nobody really uses priests anymore, so it doesn't matter. The barrier is based on her HP, doesn't matter. Boosted healing mitigates the damage they take by 50%. This is some whale level stuff because you're not gonna be wasting so much potential pots on a Vega. And you have Favor of the Sun God, increases healing efficacy. Yeah, the thing is, if she had healing percent, HP, or max HP healing percent, or whatever, based on a max HP of a hero, of a unit, she would actually be useful. But because these values are so low, I don't really think that she's gonna make a difference. I mean, sure, you can cast her, she might get like 1 billion healing in there, but it really depends where you place her, how you place her, how much effectiveness she has, and how much space on your bar she actually takes, because if you have too many abilities, you might misclick or cast wrong abilities and stuff like that, so you have to also manage your ability bar. So for the current moment, she's not really that useful at any part of the game whatsoever. Might actually be useful in the future, but who knows, we're gonna have to see. If I would raise abilities, I would raise the healing, I would raise the boosted healing and favor of the sun god to max levels, and after that I would likely raise the saving lives. If I was playing, I suppose, any humanoid race, which units would go into the hospital. And that's pretty much it. There is really nothing else to cover. She's not really that useful. I don't really find that much usefulness in her at the moment. Who knows, in the future it might change and I might make a video on her as well. But that's pretty much it. Hopefully you learned something new. If you did, do hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. As well as if you would wish to support me more than just watching my videos, I have made a Patreon page where you would be able to do just that. In return, I would be able to help you out more individually in terms of events, PvP formations, and stuff like that. As well as I would like to thank all of my patrons for the support. I really appreciate it for the subscriptions. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe out there.